Hello, my lovely, beautiful souls. I am so excited to be back with another reading today. And this one is very interesting. As I was settling into this energy here, I was getting a few different things. It feels like the energy here is a little bit high right now, right? As we're heading into this new year, there's potentially a lot of things that we're wanting to accomplish this year. And so I'm feeling a little bit of a mixed bag in terms of like some of this, some of that, something over here. Yeah, it's kind of like this Seven of Cups energy too. It's like maybe this or maybe that or maybe this, right? And so anyway, so just bear with me as I try to ground this down into kind of a message that's coherent and that kind of makes sense, and is really grounded in a practical way for you to be able to take this advice and to apply it to your lives and run with it. But I want to start out by saying that you guys are very, very divinely led right now. You guys are being led by your higher selves during this time. And especially, it's funny because I was really pulled to see what ascended master or god or goddess or angel was working with you guys at this time. And I pulled this one, number 44, Goddess Bastet and Cat's Eye, Sacred Pleasure. And this is associated with 888 as well. So 44, 888, you could be seeing angel numbers a lot. I'm getting a lot of repeating numbers, especially over here we have 111. Which is really interesting. So that's just by the wayside. That's not really something that I intended to share, but it's interesting here. So we have the Goddess Bastet working with you. And it is funny because I usually pick the decks that I'm going to be working with in my readings ahead of time, right? And so I'll kind of go into my stockpile and I'll just, intuitively feel out what decks I need to be able to pull for the reading. And I wanted to use my Isis Oracle deck, which is this one right here. And I typically do not use this one very often, but I felt today that I wanted to really use it. So I had already pulled this card here, Pillar of Light, Descent of the Star of Isis. And then what do you know? Bastet comes in. So Egypt is in the house. Egypt could be really significant for you. You could really resonate with having a lot of past lives in Egypt, with working with a lot of gods and goddesses from Egypt. I know that Bastet, I think she's the daughter of Ra, the sun god, if I'm not mistaken. But she is primarily the goddess who oversees the home, the hearth and the home. She protects against negative spirits, evil entities, and she also protects against disease, which I thought was interesting because you also have whole self health coming out here, natural therapies, balance, Ayurveda, which is an ancient Indian health practice, and it's holistic, right? So it's involving the body through meditation, through yoga, through your diet, through your thought life and meditation. So it's taking care of the whole self, your mental body, your physical body, your emotional body, your spiritual body, all into treating it all as one, right? Which personally, I think that's how healthcare should always be handled, but that's just my opinion. This is not about my opinions, but that's just my thoughts. So anyway, I thought it was really interesting that you have Bastet coming out here, guarding against and protecting against disease. And then we have Ayurveda coming out here as well, whole self-health. So there could really be a call at this time from your higher self. As I was saying, your higher self is really taking ownership of guiding you through this stage and through this process of the life journey that you're on right now. That sounded really dramatic. Maybe not like your life journey holistically, but through this specific subchapter. Like it's kind of when you're reading a chapter and you know how they have like the little line page breakers, in between, and it's not necessarily going to the next chapter, but it's denoting like, okay, we finished one part of the chapter and now we're going into the next part. That's kind of what I feel like here. It's like you're moving into some form of a mini transition here that your higher self is guiding you through. And so they're really highlighting the importance of being able to eat healthy, to take care of your physical avatar, and to be able to potentially, if you're dealing with any sort of like chronic ailments or chronic diseases, if you have any type of what is that called? Like immune disorders or things like that. There's really a call here to be able to help take care of those things in a very natural way that feels very good for you. I'm not getting anything specific here, and I'm actually kind of glad, because I feel like every person's body, every person's system is wholly and uniquely different. And so I think you're going to know what works best for your system, what works best for your energy, and then you'll be able to apply that to your personal health routines. So what was really interesting here as well is I'm getting a couple of different things. I think, where are we going to start? Okay, so like I said before, we got the pillar of light descent of the Star of Isis. And I was reading a little bit about this card, and I thought it was very interesting because, and very synchronistic with what we've also pulled here in the reading, but this is all about being able to integrate more light into your light body, being able to increase your light quotient, right? And so what does that mean? That means being able to effectively integrate higher vibrational frequencies into our 3D avatars so that we can incorporate more of that high vibrational frequency and ascend, raise our vibration and help us ascend. And with that, it really comes into play with allowing more light into your body. But sometimes if we are not in the best mental, state or physical state, if we're not taking care of ourselves in those ways, it can kind of create some energetic blockages, is what I'm hearing. So in order for your higher self to properly integrate with you and to be able to bring and ground this higher dimensional light into your body to help you through this transition that you're going through right now, they want to be able to incorporate this light within your system. But with that, we need to be able to clear those blockages. So we need to be looking at taking care of ourselves and our thought life, right? And how are we speaking to ourselves? Are we talking to ourselves like, how would you speak to your best friend? That's what so many people say, right? That's how we want to be talking to ourselves and speaking to ourselves with kindness and love and self-compassion, right? And really being able to embody those kinds of those kinds of mindsets, as we're talking to ourselves and physically, how are we taking care of our 3D avatars? Are we, maybe do we need to be moving our body a little bit more? Do we feel a little bit stagnant in our life? And that's maybe translating into us being physically stagnant. Like we're not walking enough. We're not, and I'm not saying you have to go to the gym like 7 days a week, but doing something that feels inherently good for you and your body, whether that's walking, whether that's, doing some stretching, whatever the case may be. Some yogic practices might be coming up for you here, especially when we have Ayurveda coming through as well. So you're going to intuitively know what exactly that means for you in your specific situation. But I'm just getting that message that really look at how your mental health is and how your physical health is. Take stock of that in a really practical way and be able to provide a little bit of a game plan for yourself. Yeah, I just heard game plan, X's and O's. You know how when the football coaches do the plays on the sheets, they do the little X's and the O's for the players. Like that's what I'm seeing. It's like that your higher self wants you to be really, really kind of logistic with this process and be able to see like, okay, what are some practical steps that we can take to be able to make ourselves feel good in these two specific ways? And that way that's going to be able to clear some of these energetic and spiritual blockages for you. And then you can be able to receive these downloads and this new light, this new frequency that's trying to be integrated within your system. So I also thought that it was really interesting that we have Breathe to Mastery that came out here as well for my NLP deck. It says, before your mind can reset, your body must feel safe. Regulated breathing immediately signals your nervous system that you're not in danger, even if your thoughts are spiraling. This card encourages you to use your breath as a switchboard for your emotional state. And, I love how they use the specific word switchboard here. Because if you think about what a switchboard is, it's a big board and it's full of a lot of different dials and little flippers and buttons and things like that. And there's a ton of different levels that you can pull. Similarly, we have so many different ranges. We have so many emotions and a range of emotions that we can go through, and to be able to use as powerful tools to be able to put us in certain energetic states, certain energetic frequencies, depending on what we're wanting to do, how we're wanting to feel, whatever the situation calls for. And so I think that this is really a time for you. I booped you. I think this is really a time for you to come into mastery of your emotional body and how you're making yourself feel, and being able to make yourself feel good so that you can be in alignment. And with that alignment comes it's almost like what I'm seeing is it's like you're in a car and you're trying to drive somewhere, and then you run out of gas, and then you keep trying to drive that car, right? But it's like, okay, logistically, we know that the gas tank is on empty. So no matter how hard we push that gas pedal, we are not going to go anywhere. Like, sister, brother, that car is not moving. It is staying firmly in place. So that's what I'm getting here. It's almost like you need to be fueling yourself with the right things so that you can keep on journeying. That's what I'm hearing. So with the breathe to mastery, I'm getting a specific breath meditation that I recently learned about. I think it was like a couple of years ago. It's from this YouTube channel called Spirit Science, and they are absolutely amazing. Go ahead and check them out if you don't know who they are or what they stand for. They're absolutely awesome. And they have this video that they did where it's called the breath of life, and they use the Egyptian Ankh as the symbol. And what it is you basically breathe up, from your root chakra all the way up to your crown chakra. I think it's like four beats, and then you hold that breath up at the crown chakra that you've inhaled from your root, and then you breathe out and you breathe into your heart space. You picture yourself breathing into your heart space. And what that's doing is that's really allowing for cleansing to happen, for things to be moved around physically in your body, right? Because our emotions, when we don't deal with them properly, they are stored physically within our system. And that can be manifested through different ailments, through different diseases. And like I was saying over here earlier, best step being the protector against diseases, and then whole self-health coming out here. I feel like that could really resonate with quite a few of you. You may be going through some sort of ailment or disease, whether that's manifested through it doesn't even have to be like an autoimmune disorder, but it could be like some sort of thing like anxiety, you know what I mean? And not to say that that's something, obviously genetics do play a role in things of that nature. And I definitely don't want to downplay that. I never want to be able to dismiss, the weight of that, I guess you could say. But I do also, know that spirit's coming through, your higher self is coming through with some sort of message here about how, when we don't deal with emotions properly, they are stored in the body, and it can manifest in, these different ways. Depending on you and your situation, you're going to know how that pertains to you. So anyway, as we're breathing into our heart space, it helps, they also say, to be able, I think it's like 3 or 4 different affirmations, and it's all about like, I honor myself, I trust myself, I value myself, I love myself. I can't remember exactly all of them. I think it's those 4. But you say those affirmations to yourself as you're breathing into the heart space. And that really allows for this energetic cleansing and clearing to take place, almost as if when you're in a space, a physical space, when you light incense, right? It helps to clear the air. It helps to cleanse the air. It's almost like that's what you're doing energetically through some sort of breath work like that. And I'm getting that's really going to be helpful for you too, because we did also have Deep Inward Journey come out. It says you'll be rewarded for the work. How can you alchemize your fear? And so, like I said, there's a lot of emotional work that you guys are working through right now. And this is really a time to be able to journey inward and to be able to rework some of these fears that you may be dealing with. And fear is, what do they say? It's a mile wide and an inch deep. It can seem so massive. It can seem so overwhelming when we're in it. But when we actually take that first step, they say that action cures fear, right? So when we take that first step, and when we just take it one step at a time, one foot in front of the other, instead of looking at everything and feeling overwhelmed, and like like none of it is, gonna work out, and we start catastrophizing. Like, I'm getting that type of energy here, and trust me, I get it. Like, you're kind of preparing for the worst sort of a thing so that you're not disappointed, maybe, is what I'm hearing for some of you. But what I'm hearing is that there's really not a need to do that. That's something that we're healing right now, and you're going to be needing to heal this emotional response as you transition into the next stage of your life. Because let me tell you, and that's what I was also going to say too here. I was pulled to this crystal when I was opening up to your guys' reading, and I love the platonic solids. I think they're fascinating. I couldn't remember for the life of me which one this is, but I knew it was the 12-sided one. So I actually grabbed my sacred geometry guidebook here, and I want to read it to you because I think this is just so pertinent to what we were just talking about here with the Pillar of Light and the Breathe to Mastery. So it says, the dodecahedron is divine thought. With its 12 equal pentagonal 5-sided faces, is one of the 5 3-dimensional shapes commonly called the platonic solids. The dodecahedron is associated with the female side of our natures and the element of ether or prana. And what was I saying? Your higher self wants to be able to ground down this higher vibrational frequency from the higher realms, from the higher dimensions, from the ether, and grounding it down into you in the form of prana, in the form of light, breath. It is a symbol of heaven and divine thought. So it says, connects you with the divine thought and asks you to contemplate the truth of universal oneness. Both metaphysics and quantum physics affirm that we are part and parcel of every particle of energy and one with all of creation. Consciously move into your breath and connect with the prana force that resides there. Feel yourself moving away from the concept of duality and separation into an experience of the oneness and unity of all life. Breathe deeply and enjoy a feeling of harmony within your being. Visualize how this divine thought will affect your present life. Celebrate the shifts you are making and realize how they will aid all of humanity in our intentional evolution from polarity consciousness to divine oneness. Yes, snaps. I love that so much. And I feel like that's exactly what you guys are doing. And like I said before, we're going to get into the tarot here, which is really going to clarify what this transition looks like for you and what you're really doing physically, action-wise, in your day-to-day life here. But you are someone who is part of this movement into the new earth, into 5th dimensional consciousness, into, polarity consciousness, being this is right or wrong, this is good or bad, this is black or white. We know that there are so many shades in between of so many nuanced ideas and concepts and thought forms and energies, right? And nothing is ever just two-sided. There's always so many facets. Yeah, it's like I'm seeing kind of I'm seeing this, except it's a lot the facets are a lot smaller, and there's like almost like hundreds of these little facets, and it's like there's this light being shown on it, and there's this beautiful bright there. It's like refracting and reflecting all of these like light forms onto the wall around it, and as it's turning, it's just refracting all of this light. I got excited there, but yeah, no, that's what I'm seeing. And I think it's so cool that you guys are able to hold so many different perspectives. Maybe you're a person who can see, things from all sides. You can see each person's point of view in an argument, in a disagreement, right? I'm hearing for some of you that just comes naturally to you. Like, you've never been one to really see things as this is correct or this is not correct. That's never really been your style. And I think that's beautiful, and what you're moving into, and being able to do this breath work, take care of your physical health through this Ayurvedic work, work with the goddess Bastet if you're so, called, and alchemizing any type of fear that you may be going through right now, and integrating this light, this higher light form consciousness within your physical body is moving to something so beautiful that you can then use as a powerful tool in your tool belt, to be able to go out and shake the world up, is what I heard. Shake it up. I love that. That's awesome. Okay, tarot. So getting into tarot real quick before there's more. There's so much, my friends. You have such a loaded message today. There's like so much to go through. Okay, so So what I was getting here, we had Strength come out first, then we had Seven of Cups, we had the Empress coming out, and then we had the Chariot as well as the Three of Swords. Now, what I thought was really interesting and what really took me by surprise was when I first grabbed these 4 cards here, obviously this is pointing to a very positive story, right? We're going somewhere fast, we're feeling really good, we're feeling very powerful, very righteous with this Empress energy, but in such a beautifully, grounded way. And I think that it kind of threw me when I saw the Three of Swords come out. And so I wanted to then clarify kind of what this Chariot meant for you guys. And I got the 10 of Wands and I got the 5 of Coins as well that came out to help clarify this. And so I thought it was interesting that what I'm getting is that for a lot of you, you guys have been dealing with some sort of lack, some sort of disappointment, pain. Maybe there's been past relationships, past friendships, friendships, romantic, family, work, career, whatever type of way that you can really, how this applies to you. I feel like there's been some sort of shake up. I'm hearing shake up again. So you've really been thrown a doozy. I just heard someone say I've been thrown a doozy. So I'm hearing that there's been some sort of pain, there's been some sort of heartbreak, you've been dealing through some sort of maybe like lack consciousness, and also some sort of like and this isn't the Death card, but I think it's so interesting here that in this specific tarot deck, the 10 of Wands is depicted as, all of these branches growing up through a skull. And I think that there's definitely been like this transmutation process, this alchemical process of you turning lead, these base emotions and experiences and dense realities, and dense energies, and alchemizing that into gold, into these higher vibrational realizations and lessons that you're now then integrating through this pillar of light here, that Goddess Isis and Goddess Bastet are working with your higher self on. You're integrating all of these lessons into your body now, which I think is so beautiful. You're then able to use that in a very practical way. I'm seeing here with the Chariot, and you're using it to move forward. That is so beautiful. You're using this pain to be able to move forward. I love that. And I think I think it's really interesting. Like I was watching this movie recently, like a couple of weeks ago, because it's not really a Christmas movie, but it's set during the holidays, and it's called Collateral Beauty with Will Smith. And it is one of my all-time favorite movies. And it's kind of a slow moving film. There's not a whole lot that, well, I mean, I guess there really is, but it's kind of like a slower film. So if you're going to watch it, know that going into it. But I think it is such a beautiful depiction of this process of taking pain and taking heartbreak and taking these dense, really heavy situations and being able to turn them into something beautiful. And it talks about, like, instead of collateral damage, which we're all used to, what's the collateral beauty of this tough situation? And I think it's really interesting. And I think I'm sharing this with you because I feel like you guys might relate. It's like very hard to be able to like say this in a way that makes sense, but it's almost like when you go through really painful things and you come out of them on the other side, it's like when you're walking around, or you're doing something really mundane, like you're going to the grocery store, you're driving in your car, or you're walking, after work or on the weekend or something, doing something really, really small. But then you look around and you're like, wow, everything is just so majestic. Like these trees around me are majestic. And I can't believe how lucky I am to be living this life, like amongst all of these deep, deep lows and amongst the highest of highs. Like what a joy it is to be a human being who feels and who can experience this beauty around me right now, whether you're in nature, whether, like I said, like even street lamps, and like the hazy, drizzly dark, like that can even be beautiful. Like being able to just put on that mindset, I think, is something that is so very healing spiritually. This has been for me in my life. And I think that you guys are definitely people who can relate to that type of an energy. It's like when you've kind of been through some really crappy stuff, being able to then really understand that we can't really experience the true fullness and the richness and the depth of the light until we've experienced the complete opposite, right? The Hermetic principle I can't remember which one it is, but it's basically like in order to experience this, you first need to experience this. You know what I mean? So you have to go in the equal and opposite direction in order to get that breadth and that depth of experience, if that makes any sense at all. So anyway, anywho, I wanted to do something. I wanted to actually, I want to clarify this Three of Swords here. Yeah, I think I'm curious what this means for you. Oh, too many. I'm curious what that means for you. This Three of Swords, because I'm really getting some sort of energy. Like this is, oh, there we go. We got one. Okay. Yeah. So we had the Devil coming out. Okay. Interesting. Bottom of the deck, we have King of Swords. Yeah. Okay. So I feel like you guys have come through, like I said, some sort of energy that has really been like utterly heartbreaking to you is what I'm hearing. Like I'm just hearing it broke your heart. And this Three of Swords energy with the Devil coming out, this could be a particular person, this could be a situation, this could be moving through, like I said, we had the Five of Coins coming out here, clarifying the Chariot as well. So it could be some sort of like lack that you've grown up with or that you've been dealing with recently, and you're moving through it, you're alchemizing it in order to progress your life forward in some sort of way. And I think that that's why you're being called right now to be extra kind to yourself. Your higher self and spirit is really calling me back to what I was saying earlier in the reading when I was talking about really paying attention to your mental health right now and paying attention to your physical health right now. How do you feel within your physical avatar? How do you feel within your brain? You know, and friend, please take care of yourself is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing, friend, please take care of yourself, and journal, cry, talk to, go on a walk with a friend. I think sometimes when we go through these hard sometimes when we go through these hard experiences, like these Three of Swords moments, and especially when we have this Devil energy coming through, it's very dense, it's very challenging material that we're having to work through. And so sometimes some of us can tend to retreat, and we can tend to go within and withdraw from the outside world because it's just too much, and so it's better just to kind of be by ourselves for a little bit, which I think that is a beautiful way of being able to heal. And I think that's definitely something that we all can employ and use. But I'm also hearing that there's a call right now for you to be able to be within community, for you to be able to call up a friend and be able to go out to coffee or go on a walk or, call up a family member and just talk to them on the phone, really express yourself to other people and how you're feeling. And I'm hearing that that's really going to help with this alchemization process as well. As you're moving through this challenging time, this 10 of Wands, this Devil, this Five of Coins energy, this Three of Swords energy, into this new great future that you have for yourself, which I can see here with the Seven of Cups. Like, again, you're grounding down this beautiful, etheric, higher dimensional energy into your physical body here through this light. And I think that is beautiful. You guys are such strong people here. You guys have wrangled this alligator here. Look at you guys. Just completely bossing it up. Oh my gosh. So you guys are definitely strong people. And this isn't the first time that you've gone through something like this, something that has really kind of broken you down. But it's a beautiful thing to be broken down and to be at rock bottom, because that builds a strong foundation for you to rise back up, right? And so we can't build strong futures on shaky foundations. And so that's such a blessing and a collateral beauty moment, dare I say, of going through all of this energy over here, because you're building that strong foundation for yourself now. And I think that's absolutely gorgeous that you guys are doing that for yourselves. And I think it's also interesting here. We have answers appear when you release the question. So you guys could definitely be feeling like, okay, where am I going? What's going on? I have a ton of different options in front of me. I have a lot of different thoughts, ways that I could be going about this moving forward. I have a general direction of what I want to be doing, but I don't know exactly how to get there or where I'm going. So I'm hearing to just kind of release that for now. I'm being called to share with you, my friends, to release, to let go of needing to figure everything out right at this very second. And once you release that energy, it's so funny because the very moment you release it, It allows spirit, it allows your higher self to be able to work with that energy, and they can then go ahead and bring that down to you through divine downloads, through divine, like, I'm hearing sparks. Like, there's going to be sparks coming through you where something will just hit you out of nowhere, and you'll be like, oh, of course, like, that makes so much sense. Like, wow. And that is the divine bringing through this inspiration energy, coming through into your body, into your mind, so that you can then go forward and act on it. But I'm hearing right now, it's really a time to be able to process a lot of this stuff for you. I think it's also interesting. We had these 2 runes come out for you guys as well. We had now these, and then we had Sowilo coming out. So now this is all about being able to move through difficult energy. And I think that you are definitely adept at doing that. And you face the devil here. I mean, hello, powerful souls or what? But it's all about coming through this very difficult energy and dealing with what you need. Like, what do you need right now? And so again, focusing on your mental health, focusing on your physical health. Then we have Sowilo coming out as well, which I think is really interesting. This talks all about success, right? This talks all about celebration, joy, abundance. And so I think that that is definitely, actually, I was going to put on the 7 of Cups, but I will put Sowilo on the Empress. So I think that it just speaks so beautifully, because now these came out first and then Sowilo. So it's almost like, again, this story, which is, it's so funny. It's actually kind of opposite to the tarot. We have where you're going first and then where you're coming from at the very end. But the runes, this one came out first and this one came out second. So my point is, you don't have to put all of this, like, weight on your shoulders to be able to figure everything out right at the second, because divine inspiration is going to tend to you in a matter of time, is what I'm hearing. And that's so interesting. It's almost like you're a garden that spirit is tending to, and they're saying that you just need to rest and then watch how everything blossoms and blooms, as we can see with this Empress energy. So beautiful. Okay. All right, my lovelies, go ahead and like and subscribe to see more messages like this. It's an absolute honor to be able to read your energy and to be able to bring forth these messages, hopefully to help guide your souls through some practical advice as you move into this next part of your journey, the strong, divine, beautiful, powerful souls that you are. So anyway, I love you so much, and I will see you in the next reading.